Okay, yeah, so this is just for site work. Wonder if they have anything for one of the other
There's,
projects that
well,
they did.
and that's the thing, I'm like, why would you only do that one? Because she doesn't know what she's doing.
It's just not to ask.
She doesn't. And I,
Yeah.
I'm like, and I told her, I said, take a beat, let me do some research and get back to you. So she- I'll find her quick back.
Okay.
Oh, it's fine.
Good, Pam's getting back in.
We're on the B accounts?
Yes, all right, so we will reconvene our
Okay, so everything is fine.
budget work session.
Just-
And we have video again. Okay.
Page 32.
Okay, let's
Come and
have a
magnify you up.
Yeah.
I swear, I meant to bring it. It's not relaxed.
So Amber, we're live.
Yes.
We're recording now.
Yeah. Yep, and we're
We're not
reopening.
using this camera, so it will stay as this view.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
And we don't have anybody in the physical audience anyway, so.
Yeah.
And it's a work session,
I thought we sold all the tickets.
as I say, it's a work session with a public hearing, so
It's a sold out venue.
it's, yeah, there's no public participation anyway, so it's just observation. Okay, B fund,
MTA tax.
that's calculated, we crunch the numbers. Tiny contingent. We still have 2,000, or no, I guess, no, we ended up using all of the B fund contingent this year. But typically, very little gets used, so. We'll just look at
So
that.
what's the B fund contingent, the B contingent for?
It's for things that come up that weren't anticipated in the budget.
Okay,
So last year, what we had put in the budget was, like, not B fund, well, no, actually, in B fund, we did use a little bit, no, there's no highway salaries here. No.
and
Last year, I was gonna say, yeah.
so we
I knew
didn't
it.
use any of it.
No, we have, in 2024, we have, because the adopted budget was 10,000, modified budget was 2,000. So we've done something, I just, off the top of my head, can you pull up
This
Williams?
year?
Yeah, pull up
Balance.
Williamson to see.
It might be like outside consultants, like increasing,
Board, it was planning board,
yeah, I think
to
so.
up their legal fees because of the wetlands
Oh,
applications.
yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So we put it back at 10.
Yes. Just like at the A fund contingent, I put back at 100,000. We always need to have contingent because
Mhm.
if someone leaves and we have a new hire and sometimes market rate is crept ahead of us.
Okay.
That's good to have.
Yeah.
Licensing review board, hopefully we'll get that reconstituted.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, one person already reached out to me, just asking whether or not I thought they should submit an application. I was like, sure, but they have to wait, we have the public hearing coming.
So basically, we haven't really found any money yet.
No, I'm not hopeful.
So we're looking at,
I'm being
what,
honest.
10.2?
It's currently 10.2, but we've got a couple of tweaks that you and I are gonna sit down and go over next week with Barbara took a closer look at the retirement, and the breakdown of the retirement, and I'm not sure. I know she was
Yeah, she was
checking the
doing
numbers.
something else. Yeah,
I think next week's gonna be a quiet week with no budget meetings until Friday,
Yeah.
no work session. So,
Yeah,
quiet work time. All right, so, page 33. So in the building department, actually Reed hasn't, oh, he's coming in Tuesday the 22nd.
Mhm.
His ask had been to bring, let me get the notes. We wanted to, he's a senior building inspector, but he's eligible to be principal building inspector. So he wanted to bump his position to principal building inspector with a salary increase that puts him more in line with, not with, but getting a little bit closer to other municipalities. He wanted to move Brett into senior building inspector because he does oversee some of what Michael does. And so he wanted to increase Brett's salary as well. And then he had proposed a new building inspector line that would be shared between building and zoning. And I cut that. So I cut the big ask, I kept them at the percentage increase, and I cut the new building inspector. Although part of the new building inspector was taking our code enforcement person from, so we've got a part-time person and taking it to a full-time person. So, but I didn't put any of that in.
okay.
But he will come and talk to us about it on the
When
22nd.
we pay the part-time person? So,
That would be on page, that's maybe on page 37. So currently 52, 728.
37?
Page 37 towards the bottom, ordinance enforcement.
Oh, so it's right in here.
It's its own department.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's a bit of a shared report
Between zoning and.
between the building department and the town attorney.
So some of the concerns I have with the building department
Mm-hmm.
are that, you know, I kind of anticipate some retirements in the next year to 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be nice to get a new person in there and start training them before people start retiring, because it's gonna be almost impossible for whoever's left to train a new person and do the job
Mm-hmm.
without the assistance of the people who are already there. That's kind of my fear with the building
Yes.
department, so,
Definitely, and also attracting somebody,
yeah, so I would,
because we are so far under other municipalities.
and they're so overwhelmed with work. I mean, they've been so busy this year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what Reed has to say, but I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
gonna put it back in.
Mm-hmm.
I see that it could,
Wrong direction.
I know, but I
I
think
know.
that if we don't look to anticipate this need,
Mm-hmm.
we're really gonna be up a river later.
And also, I had originally not taken out the part-time code enforcement, not fully understanding because the dual report, I didn't want to take out a part-time person and put in the full-time person.
Right.
Not, but if we just put in the full-time person,
Then take out the
take out the
part-time.
part-time, the ask is smaller.
Right,
So we may be able to do something with that.
Okay.
But it's still gonna be an increase.
yeah.
But when Reed comes in, we can,
Yeah, we can talk to him about what he's thinking.
Yeah, let me hear what he has to say, because, I mean, this is such an important department.
And
the
we're
town
fin-
going forward.
Mhm. And we're
And,
finally making headway with code enforcement, which is always like the public's biggest complaint.
Right.
So we've started to
exactly,
tackle some of the old issues and start to work on.
I mean, it's not a subject for here and now, but maybe we should consider rethinking all this, because I mean, it's not a subject for here and now, but I mean, important department, especially going forward, this is what everybody's complaining about. Maybe a new approach is needed, but
Do you have an idea what the new approach would be?
no, let's see what Reed has to say.
Okay.
We need to have that conversation, but we need more, not less.
Right,
And-
that's my, I mean, that's my
Yeah.
concern, is that they're already stretched,
Mhm.
and the pressure's not gonna get less. You know, just the amount of foils that they field, and, you know, it's just kind of overwhelming sometimes.
Mhm. They have one of the two electric cars, right? Those Chevy Bolt.
They have two
Oh, the
electric,
two.
well, there's technically three, but they share one with the assessors, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're all Chevy Bolts?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You have the employee schedule?
For who's coming in? Oh, the analysis?
Yeah. You have that up? Because was there a change in hours?
Yes, so they wanted Michael DeSanctis and Kim to go up to 40 hours.
I did do something with Brett.
We rolled in his permit examiner number.
Right, okay, because I was like, we did
We
something.
took out that line and just
Got it.
included it in his building and zoning.
Brett and Michael are both at 40 in the spreadsheet.
Yeah, then they wanted Kim to move up to 40.
Yep. These numbers, I mean, seem kind of low. Do they get salary from other activities?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's building department, there's zoning department.
So it's like half and half, half in building and then half in,
No one would do this job for this money.
yeah,
This is,
half in zoning on page 35. When we need to add in 500 in building and 500 in zoning for Kim's longevity
Oh,
that we forgot to include. I actually already have that like on my spreadsheet.
we'll do,
You can't forget
next
that.
week, we'll work on all the replacement pages.
Mhm.
Actually, the whole.
I might just reprint the whole thing, yeah, with the new columns.
December 30th, the first two,
Mhm.
insert it for 2023.
Email out a new version.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. It's the fire warden. Okay.
And originally what he had done is he had incorporated that salary into his bump up.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I just gave the cost of living increase, I restored the fire marshal.
Well, there's the fire marshal and then there's the fire.
The fire warden used to be Dottie,
Oh,
or her husband,
That's Fred.
so.
figure out who does that now. Can't be Fred.
I'm not really sure what. It's a .484, so some sort of like office
Is it the
supply thing maybe they need.
office from doing
Well, it
the?
hasn't gotten paid this year.
I don't-
False alarms?
It might just be one of those things we always put in, but then never.
Might be something we can
Use it.
save $300 on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'll move me too.
Amber, if you could, I don't know if you're. Okay.
Register of vital statistics.
No, the fire warden. If you could
Okay.
look through the resolutions to see if we appointed anybody for 2024 or 2023.
I think 2023 it was a read, but I'll check now.
Okay, because in code, we do reference the fire warden.
Right.
I feel like we were looking at something recently.
I'll pull it now. Just give me a few.
And is someone being paid for that now?
Well, that's what.
That's what we need to figure out.
We have to figure out.
Roll it into something else? It's just-
Well, if someone's been appointed, then we need to pay it.
Right.
Yeah, it was not paid out in 2023. Well, Amber's looking for that. Yeah, just our vital statistics. That is also another Amber question. Oh, that's.
Yeah, honestly, I've never used this. Dottie always put it in. I assume it was for maybe the special paper you need from New York State for death certificates, so on, but I've always used anything out of our personal office and miscellaneous,
Mhm.
so I've never used it.
Yeah,
Now that I know
'cause
that it's here, honestly, I didn't even know it was separate. But that's the only thing that I think that it would be there for is for the special documents that you need for the marriage certificates, transcripts, death certificate.
Mhm.
But again, I've always used my own office and miscellaneous.
Yeah, I don't know if we
I think
need
it's
to have
ever
a
been
separate
used.
line. Let's
No.
just deep six it.
I'm zeroing out all these.
Yeah. Well, fire warden, let's hold until we know.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
that's supposed to be
highlight.
paid to somebody.
Yeah. Assign anyone to it.
But I think we
Or
do.
what's the legal requirement? Do we have to have a fire warden if we have a fire marshal?
I think we would have to have a fire warden if it's in code, or we have to change the code to fire marshal.
Yeah, let's see.
Can't make it part of an existing job, but just.
Yeah.
Feels like one of those things like 20 years ago. It's stuck in here to pay somebody an extra $200.
It almost seems
Yeah,
like they're the
still-
same job, like the
Yeah.
fire marshal is a higher rank than the fire warden. But they kind of do the same thing. According to the Google. So we'll have to see what it says in our
Google?
code.
Mhm.
The Google.
Looks like the line was established in 2017, according to the accounting program, and it just is called fire warden / town clerk, office and miscellaneous.
So it's supposed to
Maybe
be
they-
Amber Wilson.
Yeah, I have no clue what that's for. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
Get rid
I
of
mean, I
that
can
one,
look
too.
at it more, but it looks like it's just was like an,
Did they create it to start collecting fines
Maybe.
for
What page
the
is
false
this on?
alarms?
It's on
Yeah,
page.
maybe if they needed any office supplies to do that.
Mailers, I don't.
I did leave in, just between the building department and zoning, I did leave in the 35 to 40 hour work week increase for both Kim and for Michael.
Okay.
What are the ramifications since I've had like benefits and?
Slight increase in payroll taxes, slight increase in retirement.
Michael was hired recently, wasn't he?
Couple years
Couple
ago.
years.
A couple of years ago?
Mhm.
Does he live on the island?
Yes.
Yeah. We had been, we were using, I'm trying to remember the name of the company we used for like short-term rental monitoring.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't working well.
Yeah, so now Michael takes care of monitoring registrations and things. As well as other building department functions and inspections.
I did find a resolution from 2017 stating that fire wardens are the town fire marshal and the fire chiefs of the Shelter Island Fire District. So then I'll continue on to figure out what.
Yeah, it looks like it just like postage came out of there in like 2019 and then extra copies, I guess, because it's for car Xerox. So it just seems like it was a little extra office money for
Right.
probably the false alarm stuff. So yeah, yeah.
You just spent 600.
We did, we got $600 out of that, and then
Oh.
I just.
Yeah.
What?
So zoning board of appeals. Because we have moved large homes,
Mm-hmm.
and if someone wants to build a house in excess of 6,000 square feet, they have to go to the ZBA for a variance as opposed to a special permit.
So it's just different to the zoning department? Oh,
Yeah, it's
here it
zoning
is,
board of
next
appeals, yes.
page.
So Phil had requested an increase because he foresees that there's going to be more work. He'd also done an increase for Christina because he was giving everybody an increase. And when I was adjusting salaries back down,
Mhm.
I forgot to adjust Christina's back to the 3.7%. So the 12,000 can become 10,100.
Okay.
Okay, and 10,100?
Mhm.
I mean, he requested 15, you gave him 15, that's a $4,000 increase. Can we make that 2,500?
Yeah, let me just, I will.
It's a little bit more work, but sure.
Mhm. All right, so here was the letter. As you plan the town budget for the upcoming fiscal year, we are writing to respectfully request a salary raise for zoning board of appeals members. As you know, the number and complexity of applications before the ZBA has increased, and accordingly, the amount of time reading and studying the cases as well as visiting sites has increased. Since the town has moved the decision-making on larger homes exceeding 6,000 square feet to the authority of the ZBA, our time and attention to those applications will also increase. In addition, we have been fielding questions concerning seeker reviews that require more time and consideration. On more complicated applications, we see an army of representatives for the applicants submitting reams of paperwork, all Well, that needs to be carefully reviewed to make sure we are balancing the benefit to the applicant and the possible detriment to the town. This all takes time, and it all adds up to much more time than was required just a few years ago. We are an experienced and professional board. We take all matters that come to us with great seriousness, detail, and care, and we represent the town with integrity. Therefore, we respectfully request that salary of ZBA members be increased to $7,500 per year and that the salary of the chairman be increased to $15,000. Thank you for your consideration, and it's signed by the entire board. So I just wanted to get that up to you.
This seems like there's some savings here. And that logic, if you apply it in reverse, I mean, we took away wetlands authority from planning board, but I'm not suggesting that we
Well,
lower
we
their
never-
salaries,
Well,
but,
we never gave them an increase for the additional work of the wetlands.
okay.
Yeah.
Seems like there's a little bit here somewhere.
Okay.
I'll leave it to you.
So you wanted to decrease, like, let me just see what the ask is.
It's
So it would-
34, 35%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just the normal increase would be like 11,600
Yeah.
for the chairman.
2,300.
So if you wanna split the difference. We take it to 13,300.
Fine by me.
The four board members. It would have been 23,200. So it'd be 26,600.
Save some money. Yeah. $6,000.
So 7 grand. So we go from 57,000 to 50,000
Mhm.
with those 3 cuts. Going further down, professional services, they're already trending up. With more
Right.
professional services on secret reviews and things, so.
Mhm.
So they asked for 15, they're giving 25, they're on track to do what?
Close to 16,000.
So instead of 25, make it 20?
Well, this is before them getting the large home stuff. I mean, possibly. It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell, but
And we may want to also revisit, like, having applicants reimburse us for any professional services.
then I would definitely put in 20. That's
Mhm.
Through the end of September, it was 18,288.
so 3 months left.
Yeah.
So then they're tracking to 24,000,
And
24,384.
when will we consider requiring applicants to reimburse us?
We'll have to review that and pass a resolution. So
We should
it'll-
absolutely do that.
Okay, so we need to make a note. We just have a to-do list here on that.
What do other towns do? I have no idea.
I think it depends on the town.
Where's Barry? Can we ask him?
Yeah, he took a vacation day today,
So it's door knocking?
probably. But let's see, the 22nd's probably too busy. Oh, yeah. I'm posting this on a future
Oh,
work
yeah,
session,
no.
like the 22nd is like,
Yeah, I really wonder if other towns get
I'm
reimbursed for
texting
that.
them.
Yeah, actually, the 29th, October 29th would be a good time, because we're gonna just discuss site plan review application fees.
Does it make sense to get half reimbursed? I have no idea.
We will bring in, the zoning board chair and go over fee structures and,
Well, I wonder what other East End towns are doing.
I texted Steve to find out, 'cause I think he had some understanding of that. We'll see if he gets back. That's a good way to do it, it just adds a whole other level of clerking,
yeah,
because now we have to be billing people.
they have to be tracked and billed. We do that,
But it's generating income.
Oh, yes. No, no, I'm not opposed to it, that. Not opposed at all.
no, we just have to make
It's one
sure.
of those things that
Some
pays for
right
itself.
procedures, yeah. Okay, so
That's
discuss
fast.
CBA fees.
I always think through the entire process from beginning to end on like what glitches are we gonna encounter as we do these things. So I'm very, just process the whole thing.
Yeah, because we were discussing that on wetlands applications.
Right.
Because we have to, with the
Getting
environmental
reimbursed.
consultant, we need to track her. So we may actually be able to adjust when we get to that section.
Yeah, it's one of those areas where it's a good fee, given the fact that they're appealing the code to do something that we don't want them to do.
Yeah, they're asking for variance of some kind.
Yes.
So it's like, why aren't they paid for that?
Yes, which is why we have to be careful when we write code that creates more nonconformity, to make sure that we're not, like, that's where the hurt comes from when people are, like, so we just need to be cognizant of that. Hence why we,
We're
Took a
writing
mulligan
code,
on
creating
pyramid.
one up before, maybe even to get people, well, okay. Yeah, there's another side to that coin.
I think Kelly and Emily are out there.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
right.
You wanna like pause?
Yes, all right,
We'll come
so,
back.
Pause at zoning
yeah,
board.
so we're gonna put professional fees back down to 20,
I think so.
or put it to the 15 that Phil suggested.
We're gonna,
Well, if we're definitely gonna pass the resolution, we can go to 15 and save 10 grand here.
well, we have to first see what other, if it's viable.
All right, so we'll
Let's come
say,
back to this.
yeah, we'll say 20, but we'll revisit.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll pause it before planning board. And
Back to the A fund.
mhm.
Senior.
Page 15. Yes, please.
Nutrition, right?
Mhm.
Yep. Yes. Nutrition and seniors. Senior center, silver, shopping assistants, that whole section.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you can sit at the big table.
Hi.
Be a second to settle in.
They are on Zoom, let's see.
Okay. Okay. So I think. You can write down any notes.
Well, I need a question about.
I'm just gonna say,
Questions.
Well, I know, just the way the question.
I think maybe just start off a little bit on like how the program, the nutrition program runs, as well as Meals on Wheels, so that everybody has a better understanding, and then how things have changed. Like when you first came on, there wasn't a program manager, and now there is, and the types of things, Emily, that you have to do, like all the county compliance things.
So when I first came on, Sarah actually was on for a little while. But she was on and off, and then she eventually left. And then, let me see, well, it was kind of a lot. We had the cook who was kind of sporadically not there as well. Then we brought in a part-time cook to help out with, in case it wasn't there. The county paperwork was a tremendous amount of work, especially for me doing it, for running the senior center manager, and then the nutrition program. The assessments alone are like 47 pages for each home delivered meal client. All of that has to get,
How many home deliveries do we do?
At the moment, we're at 20. We've gone as low as 17 and as high as 24 in the past, since January, since I've been here.
But it should, I think when I started, it was at 30 or 28.
It was.
Yeah, it was higher, so it does fluctuate, and I
Yes.
feel like we should be prepared for anything, and if anything, like Emily does a tremendous job with outreach, we're trying to get, so we have to like keep finding the people that really need this program, because it's so beneficial. So that was like 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we would do home delivered meals, and then Monday, Friday, we would do congregate meal. All of that is all paperwork that has to be done monthly, but it really has to be done daily to keep up, because any mistakes cause a big problem. They're hard to find. Managing the staff, managing the home delivered meals too, is not only just giving meals, it's a wellness check. And that's one of the things we always have to like remind our drivers, that this is a wellness check, you're making sure someone's okay. And if they're not,
Yeah, sometimes a little miscommunication can take up half the afternoon, because the driver couldn't deliver a meal. We don't know if Mrs. XYZ is okay, then we have to check with family, then we might have to involve the police. It becomes a whole affair, so it really is quite involved.
and you never know when that's happening, it happens anytime.
Yeah.
Serving the meals.
3 days, 3 meals to 5 meals.
Yeah, we went from, well, that was with Emily. Emily bringing Richard on as the new cook, and Michelle. They've made like such a great team that we were able to figure out how to get 5 meals to these home delivered a week without raising the, staffing. And which was, I thought, tremendous.
Yeah, Richard and Michelle are extremely competent and both very busy bodies. They are constantly scurrying around doing, because they're often multitasking, especially on Mondays and Fridays when we're sending out meals and preparing for congregate. So they're there quite early, and both have a lot of experience in the restaurant industry and with cooking. So they're just very competent and work very well together. And we all kind of agreed that the people who receive the home delivered meals, some of them don't have family or friend support and really benefit and would otherwise probably not have enough food in their refrigerators. So that was like a no-brainer. Moving from 1 meal Monday, 1 Wednesday, 1 Friday, to now 2 Monday, 2 Wednesday, and 1 Friday, to kind of spread out throughout the week.
So that's a big credit to Emily as well, because she is organized the grab and, not the grab and go, the home delivered meals to go out like a specific way, because the county is very strict with temperatures, and it could ruin the whole program if the temperature's off, or it could hurt someone.
So when I started in January, it was a hot meal that was being delivered, and it was in these cooler bags that our volunteers were quite literally carrying actual bricks to their cars, and temping all the food. And it's a very dicey business with the, foodborne illnesses and whatnot. Everything had to be kept hot, and everything was recorded, and with a lot of redundancy to prove to the county everything was safe. And so that seemed actually kind of silly, because once I observed all of this happening, I realized that a lot of these home delivered clients were receiving the meal and either leaving it out on the counter because they weren't eating it right away, or putting it right in the fridge. So it seemed weird to have a hot meal delivered, and I felt like making it a chilled meal allowed us to not only prep in advance and have some of the stuff pre-made that we could just assemble in these little lunch bags we have now, But it also just made more sense for our clients, and it also keeps the temperatures to where, now we just have ice packs in our coolers, and it's a much less cumbersome. Our volunteers are much happier with the whole system, because everyone just gets a lunchbox versus like 7 kind of random items that they were cobbling to the door. So it's like tightened up some loose ends. And so, but the prep is what has allowed us to expand the program, because we have an additional freezer, and we have the cooling process. We had to get what was it called? An amendment to our food permit from the health department. In order to do cooling, you need a designated refrigerator. So luckily the Legion had one. They wanted to get off their hands, so we took that on. And now we're allowed to like prep specific elements of the meal in advance, which they do, for example, like on a Tuesday for the Wednesday meal or whatever. So the whole thing runs very smoothly now.
But you still have to temp and record all the.
You still have to do
Yes.
all of that, yeah.
It can't be more than 40 degrees or.
Correct. But
Yes.
keeping it cool is a lot easier than keeping it hot.
Yes.
And it's safer for the people.
Yes.
If they go from hot to cold, they can get a
Correct. And I mean,
And then
preparing the
rest from
food
that.
and then cooling it down and then heating it up again and then cooling it. It's
so nutrient.
it's just mush by the time they were eating it. So now we can also like par cook some of the vegetables. They're more nutrient rich and everything. So it all works out.
So we have a lot going on Mondays, because you're doing congregate meal
Yes.
plus 2 home deliveries.
Because the county wanted 2 meals that day.
And then, and Wednesday is 2 meal deliveries also, but you're also delivering over to Silver Circle.
Yes.
And then Friday you got congregate meals. So Tuesday and Thursday, prep days,
Prep days.
would it be that, like, should we consider maybe changing the congregate meals to Tuesday and Thursday? Would that, or is it like truly those 2 days being prep days without the rest of the interaction is a good way to manage it?
Tuesday, Richard uses also to drive up Island to shop.
Mm.
So it's just Michelle at the church for most of the day on Tuesday, prepping the little odds and ends, the bulk of Wednesday's meal. I feel like our schedule now is really works for us. I don't feel like that, whereas when I started, I could see, which is why we could justify expanding the HDM meals, home delivered meals, was because there was a little, not downtime, but I just felt like we could get more out of this. And now I feel like we're pretty good. They're pretty busy. The church wants us to leave at 2, which, it's a nice compact day for them, but they are busy all day, Tuesday and Thursday as well. Yeah.
Did you see a savings there somewhere?
I was just tossing it out, just trying to, like, less stress for the staff if they're doing all of this, 2 meals plus the congregate meals, client interactions on those days, like breaking it up a little bit.
Those other days help with that, though. They relieve, right?
Yes.
The prep days help relieve that big
Mhm.
push on Mondays.
And they have all of all of the home delivered stuff is their focus in the early morning. And while they have some of the congregate stuff, starting to make that or whatnot. But then by 10:30, the meals are picked up. They're delivered by 11:30. People start to arrive from 11:30 to 12. We serve congregate. They wrap up, clean up, whatever. None of it like directly overlaps, but it's nicely, one by one.
The real question was the rent.
Yes, and we're gonna have,
Oh, yeah, they're coming in Thursday, the 24th at 9 o'clock.
I'm thinking in terms of, we've got people coming on the last days.
I know.
And it's like you and I are gonna have a lot to do to get a public hearing ready on that Friday. Okay.
What was the other questions? Supplies and office, is that for the 24th of 12? Not sure why.
No, we
I
broke
noted.
out, so what I had done in the budget was I broke the rent out separately from
Right.
office, supplies and office and miscellaneous, so that way it was clear, because the big, such a big bump up. But I think,
She was It was 29. Oh, the rent was in there, that's what the
Right,
question mark
yes,
is.
yes.
Got it.
Yeah, so we pulled out the 24,000. And left 5 in the office and miscellaneous.
Got it.
Right. And that 20, what was it, 24 went up to 48. for
And we
rent.
were also doing a bump up in food and appliances, like we modified the budget to 37,000 once we implemented the 3 days to 5-day meals. And also we're just showing like the 51,240 for food appliances, like the 37 was a part year. So incorporating that program for the full year.
Right.
So I think that might have been.
And then moving some of the money over from Silver Circle,
Right, because you're not doing the meals there,
Yeah.
you're bringing them up.
make it easier.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
I think one of the questions is like, not very much has been spent on meals and snacks for Silver Circle. So the budget last year was 9,800, but since we're not bothering doing the billing back, but we still left 4,800 in that line item. What were you planning on doing with that?
It would just be like if we had pizza parties or heroes, or if, if we took Silver Circle on a trip, that kind of thing.
Because I know you've been wanting to do more, but
Yeah, we
This-
were wanting to
earlier
do.
this year.
Yeah, I was hoping like we
nutrition
could kind of, because it's been a lot of growing
Mhm.
pains, I guess, but it's all good. So we're gonna see. It definitely will be used for Silver Circle. We've had, even your mom has come for ceramics,
Yeah.
and Holly Cronin's come for aromatherapy. We have Tai Chi. So like, I know that says food and budget, but there's not much in the other part, so
Gee,
you should come.
It's a happening place down there.
good see.
60.
Oh, I'm in.
You're in. You go on
We'll
trip
see you
with us.
Now you guys have a bus driver, right? You found someone who can drive the
Um,
big bus?
I do have a bus driver. She's been available for trips,
Okay.
which is great. She's not always available.
But like.
It would be nice to have someone that's available more, but it's working out. We have another bus driver that's been on, so we're working it out. Yeah.
That was always something in the past where we were like, use the big bus, and like, but we needed a driver for it, and that was always the hard part, was
Right.
finding someone who could drive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you have someone that's working out.
yes, thank you. Me too.
Our driving issues are no more, it seems right now. We have pretty good right now.
Yeah, we kind of have it under control at first. Right,
Yeah.
well, at first it was like a little bit of, but now we seem like we're doing well.
Good.
Got a little system.
Yeah.
Is I was signing some reimbursement checks on the seniors shopping assistance program. So is that starting to pick up a little bit more?
Not as much as I would like, but it's a really nice program. If I could get more people to do it, it would be great that need it, because I think originally when this was brought to me, it sounded like anybody over 60 could have it, and that was not the case. I found out.
Have you,
Well,
yeah, what are some of the parameters? I think that
You
was
have
one of the questions
to
we-
not be able to shop for yourself.
Mhm.
So, if you're driving around the island and you don't qualify, or if you work, you do not qualify. But it's great, like someone recently, we're gonna try to get them on, and I didn't even think about this, but she needs dog food, specific dog food. So we were calling all around town, trying to find it, and we could actually have one of our shopping assistants picking up an Agway. So it is like, you have to really think about what people need, and it's,
Sell dog food at Agnes?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it actually didn't work out this way this time, I had to do it through Amazon, but we did figure it out, so if it is needed, so there are certain things seniors need, and they can't get them.
Have you given all the information to the same people who receive Meals on Wheels.
Yes.
Do they all understand that they have that option too?
I think we just have to keep, Marissa went out with
Keep
each
reminding
driver
them.
and like
Yeah.
tried to like, promote the
Yeah.
program.
Mhm.
Everything's new, so it does take time.
And
So
they
I
need-
think we really have to do a little bit of more kind of outreach, like maybe you know someone and
Right.
maybe you could refer them to us and just say, okay, I think you could use this. This is something, we have a lot of interest, but
Right, and
not a
people
lot
are
of,
probably
yeah.
not sure what they can send you out to help them get.
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Get confused by that.
And we're trying to explain to some family members that they can do the ordering. So like, you don't even have to live here. Like, say you live in Florida, but your mom is here. They can order it, we could pick it up, drop it off, put it right in the refrigerator, and you're done. And then you know that your loved ones have been fed. So maybe that's another avenue we need to start going down, is hitting the family members and really letting them know about the service. Because maybe they're stressing out, maybe they live in the city and they're coming here every week to shop for mom,
That's a great
when they could just spend time with mom.
idea. Yeah. That's
Or
a
dad.
good idea. Yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Good.
Marissa.
Marissa Finelli,
Oh,
Yeah.
she's really assistants and.
Yeah, and she's
in
been
the same-
helping people with like figuring out how to use Peapod and, well, not Peapod, but Stop and Shop.
Yeah.
Ordering, online orders.
Right now, it's more like BJ's, but we are open to Stop and Shop and all of those. And yeah, she would be there to assist them
Mhm.
in any way. Yeah.
Questions that I remember.
yeah. There was,
Ben's more new to the program, so he's trying to understand
Yeah.
like, everything that you guys do, so we're
Yeah.
trying to match up the monies with the activities that are happening.
Cool. No problem.
the cook, Donahue,
That's Michelle, yeah.
so, so she hasn't worked the whole year, is that?
Well, her job title has just changed, right? So she.
Yeah, in the beginning of the year, she became cook, like a full-time cook.
Right.
It's
She
30
was, like,
hours,
Part-time
yeah.
before, right, and she went full-time,
Right.
so it's more hours.
Okay,
Mhm.
is that why it's,
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
That's why it went up significantly.
That's why it was.
yeah.
It went from 17 to, 40.
Yeah, this is
Right.
great. She's working more.
Yeah.
No, don't have any other questions. It can't be answered on the 24th.
And I think I need,
The church is coming in to
Talk about the rent.
increase.
Cool.
All right,
Oh,
good.
24.
and I think I had just made some tweaks to a couple of your budget items. So did you send those back out to department heads? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like,
Maintenance.
since you're here, like AAA expense for car and maintenance, since it historically hasn't all been used, I tweaked that down from 5,300 to 4,400. And utilities, same thing, 6,500 to
I was looking at utilities. I thought utilities I did need though. I thought because I thought it wasn't enough because with all the water, it's the water testing that
Oh, that we put in maintenance.
Oh,
So
okay.
we did take up the maintenance line a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all the
Oh,
water.
utilities, okay,
And
so it's different, okay. All right.
Yeah,
And I'm good with the
maintenance went up
driving, right?
2,300.
Because I worry about like the drivers. I didn't really, the AAA, we're all good with those numbers?
Yeah, we kept them at 18.
Okay.
Mhm.
Only because I'm using more drivers now because they have to need them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't drive, I can't even jump in, so.
Yeah.
Where did the drivers come from?
Volunteers. that came.
Volunteers?
Yeah, volunteers, but
And we have some
People we-
Yeah, we have,
Yeah, there are some.
some people, we have drivers and
I always
volunteers.
try to start with volunteers, but
Need a commercial license. Huh?
Only to drive a big bus.
Oh, okay. So anyone can drive the small ones.
Yeah, we have, I always forget what's in the fleet. We've got the PT Cruiser still, or is that?
We have the PT Cruiser,
That's just
the
regular.
Subaru, and then we have like a Sienna van, like it's like a minivan, but it's handicap accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the small bus, which is 6 passengers and
Which one?
one wheelchair. That's the small,
The small bus does not need the CDL.
no. Right. And then the big bus is 20 passengers plus 2 wheelchairs. You need a CDL for that.
Okay.
But I mean, I would love to have a CDL licensed driver. They're hard to find. But if, anyone's able to drive it, then they could drive anything.
And maintenance and fuel, it sounds like a lot of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Do they all fit in this line of $1,500, $1,900?
Well, we have the nutrition van as well, that I think
Which
that,
age are you on?
15.
No,
Oh,
there's
that's
some,
just for the,
that's just nutrition.
that's just nutrition van fuel.
If you turn
Silver
to,
Circle?
Senior center
if you go to
has
senior center on page 17,
This is
another one.
this is the same problem I always have with this. It's all over the place.
welcome to governmental accounting.
It's like, why is it all in one place? Okay. But that number is, that's getting it done? Because that sounds like a lot of vehicles.
I think right now it is.
But we work on them in-house for the most part. So
Okay.
they go down to the highway barn and,
Okay, Ken fixes them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do people use their own vehicles sometimes for this?
Some of them do, yes.
All
the
of our
volunteers.
volunteers use their own,
Nutrition, all of them,
Nutrition.
yeah.
use their own cars.
And I have both. I have people that volunteer that use our car, and I have people that volunteer that use our cars, and then we have paid drivers that use our cars. Or their cars too.
And you mentioned something about not having enough drivers.
No, right now I think we're good.
It was that
We could-
CDL for the big bus that we had a hard time finding.
Well, we were gonna add that position in, but right now we don't think it's necessary, so we're good.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Stephen called me back about the question, but I didn't answer because we were in the, so I can call him back.
Okay, definitely. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi. So we're going through the budget, obviously, that was today's, fun. And we were looking at,
Oh, sure.
like the zoning
Me.
board professional
Sister.
expenses line. Now we're doing more super reviews, we're hiring more
Yeah.
professionals. Do other towns put
Do you
that
share with
cost
father or
down?
mother?
Father.
Like, let's say we have to go out and get outside people or a
It was
secret.
a big, long story, maybe not on camera, but. So they're coming Thursday, and then Jack wants to schedule a meeting. I'll send him the schedule right now.
What's the family cost again? Or should I ask Barbara that question? I'm just thinking health insurance.
I'm gonna ask her, but I'm pretty sure she said like 41.
41.
I guess the court should be
Yeah.
here soon,
Oh, yeah, 5
right?
minutes.
Yeah, 10:15.
Well, she's getting there, so I just want to get the other answer.
Something's clicking in my head. What about things like the environmentalists that we brought on to help do reviews? Yeah.
Oh. It's like, what is that?
I'm very itchy lately.
He's
He's zonked out.
just happy he's not home by himself, that's all he cares about.
How old is he?
He's
Right.
almost 6, he'll be 6
Aw.
in December.
Wow.
He's severe separation anxiety.
Oh,
Okay.
He cannot be alone.
oh, poor guy.
But like I said, as long
Yeah,
as he's
well,
not
he's
alone,
chilling,
he's
so.
happy as anything.
Yeah.
figure out all the family connections.
Yeah, it's, when you start getting into my in-laws and that whole side,
It shouldn't.
Oh, God.
Mundy Hills, yeah, it's,
Yeah.
that's a lot of connections for you.
Mike's mother.
Uh-huh, yes.
She'd kill. Wow, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Stephen. Yep. Bye. It's something that we can do, but we have to do some work on it. We have to change some code and pass some resolutions. But we also, I mean, part of it is a self-made problem because of our current type 1 secret list, which, okay, go back to the beginning, sorry. So he just said it's possible, but we have to do some code changes and some resolutions in order to be like able to do it. But some of it is also self-inflicted because of our type 1 list.
Yeah.
So that's something that we should probably look at.
That's another code change, so.
Yes.
Public hearings.
Yeah. Yeah, all these things.
So the answer to this is to maybe lower it by 5,000
Yeah, and not.
and
Or, yeah, and then maybe look at, well, we just updated the wetlands application fees, right? Did we do that?
Yes, they're
Yeah.
$1,000.
Thank you.
I was like, I can't
I was like, I'm
remember.
pretty sure we
Like-
upped that from like 250.
we can do that without these other problems.
Yeah, we did that.
Right, because the fee structure's outside of the code, like it's a policy procedure. Oh, no, you can come in and pick a seat at the table.
Okay, sounds good.
What page is that?
Good morning.
Justice Court is towards the beginning.
Okay.
Amber, I have a message for you, from
We
you
are
know who.
on Zoom,
Oh, okay.
just letting you know.
We're live. I'll see you later.
Hello. Page 3.
Hey, man. All the way back on page 3?
Oh, it's something.
Over, but
You know,
I'm drawing a blank because my brain isn't like
that's
this.
right.
I'll walk out with you.
Yes.
Good.
You're number 2 on the list. It's Town Board Justice Court, right at the top.
Right in the beginning.
Thanks for seeing us.
Yes.
How was Alaska?
It was good. It was an interesting conference. It was good to meet all the people that I either only talked to on email or on Zoom. So,
Yeah, it's weather.
Wi-Fi.
spectacular. It was
TSI.
a month
Yeah, it's
before,
TSI and
for a
it's
month, and then
at
stopped.
Connect.
and cleared up.
Connect
It was
me
beautiful.
at symbol.
Saw the
Yeah,
Northern
at symbol,
Lights.
connect me at symbol.
It's good.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Want you to come up with that?
I've already got my analysis in front of me.
So I think the biggest question is just the increase in hours for the part-time clerk. It's just what has precipitated that need, just because it is a bigger budget increase and we're already trending, and so what had gone into the budget was the increased hours, but just,
And also the raise,
yes,
which I guess everybody understands.
yeah, that was a two-part, bringing her up
Okay, yeah,
over
okay,
last year and this year.
okay.
So we're trending towards 24, is that what we're trending?
For what, salary or hours?
Part-time clerk.
Yes. What was your question, Ben?
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out what we're trending towards right now for this year.
Oh.
Looks like 24? For salary?
You mean as of right now?
Hours? I guess it's
Shelley,
us.
what do you have for,
Yeah.
September?
There was also a period of time where she was filling in because Claudine was out on medical leave. So some of the hours for this year, it's kind of skewed, so it's hard to look at that as a trend for normal. operation.
706.
It was a 2-month period.
And I was out on no fault, so.
Claudine had surgery for 2 months.
25,000. Okay.
But we're looking at, we talked about 18 hours as an average.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're finding that we need.
What's the rate?
We had actually mentioned, I think, 21, and then we settled on
18.
Yeah, again, one of the problems is each week, depending what the calendar is, the amount of work done, she doesn't just pick up and go, she does her work, and we don't let her stay past. She has all that work that she's actually doing. I know I drove by yesterday, she was still working on calendars for next week, so she does the work.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It's-
Absolutely. And the court is busy.
What's her hourly rate?
$29 an hour.
And she does an excellent job. And we do need her. And that 18 is an average over the year, because there are times in, say, the winter where she works less hours because we don't need her as much. But in the summer, the court is much busier. There's a lot of parking tickets. There's more tickets given out. So the calendars are bigger. So, it's kind of seasonal to an extent. So the average of 18 is what it works out to.
I think, Claudine, you can speak about the Office of Court Administration with the continuing legal education, how many hours she has to do that also.
Right.
So that's something that you may not take into account, but there are hours of continuing legal education.
How many are those?
It's like 24 a year.
You sure it isn't 12 a year?
I think they just upped us for some
It
reason.
was 12 a year, but I know they just sent something on the Hope Care Act.
I saw that.
Yeah, I was just reading.
It keeps, they give hours, they throw it in there.
Yes, that's true.
Legislation
There's
changes.
something new, so I think.
Yeah,
that's
no, I
why it's
know.
so
I saw
high.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
She reminded me, I gotta do more of mine.
You have the same thing,
Yeah.
but they have it for the clerks, and it's so necessary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As the laws
Claudine is
change.
Great with that.
Absolutely. And the clerks work, they are not secretaries to the judges. They actually have their own jobs and things that they do that we don't do, that, they really need to know.
And I get yelled at, and I laugh because Claudine knows, I say, can you do this, because we have a case. We had a case on Monday, and I said, Friday, can you call? And she had a problem with the Office of Court Administration with the controller report, and that's got to be her priority for New York State, that we don't, I don't know, but I don't take into account, but it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot that goes on. Did you have any other questions about our budget?
The contracts line, what do you have in contracts?
FBS is one of them, that's the parking ticket system, that's why it's so high, the vouchers are high. Actually, I have 2 of them today for the 2 busiest months, which are comparable to the last one, so it's like 1,200, and then the other one's like 2,200.
Yeah.
But typically, it's not as much. What else do we have in there?
Don't we have
We have
the machine, the
Yeah, the copy machine.
Change the machines.
Yeah, well, that's like 1,800 just for the contract. But I'm currently working on a grant for a new machine.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of our equipment, just so you know, most of our computers are provided to us by the state. So I think the town has provided us with 1 computer. All the rest are provided to us by the state. We also are getting the grant for the new copy machine from the Justice Court Assistance Program. So we're not asking the town for any of those things.
This was actually from the state as well.
Okay. Okay, great.
I think part of that question too is that through June, only $309 had been spent, but
On the contracts?
yes, but I think.
Yeah, I just put in about,
Yeah,
I just put, you just signed them.
I just
You know
signed
how
them,
one was-
yep.
It was about,
One was like $3,000 and.
yeah, it was almost 4,000 between
Yeah.
the two, so we'll be
Yeah.
up there,
I
yeah.
figured it was a timing.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, no, it's a timing
Yeah,
thing.
they take, I was kind of surprised about it, it's 30% of the profit at VS, so,
Yeah.
yeah, that is high.
The other thing, travel, though, that's all for training. So that's important.
Also, isn't some of the drug court?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, because I'm a judge in the East End Drug Court, and that's a volunteer position. I don't get paid any extra for that. I do get to charge tolls, my beverage gets paid, but there's also training that we go to, and there are conferences that the team attends, so I need travel money for that.
But not only for drug court, for the judges. I started 4 years ago, and when I started, COVID hit, and they started doing everything basically online, and I just got used to it, and I'm fine with that. I'm not asking for much, but I'm running again this year. If I don't win, I don't know, person coming up behind me may want to start going. And they're starting to do less online and more in person again, so I don't know where we stand with.
I haven't seen that there's less online, but they are doing more
More.
in person, yes.
Person, yeah. Well, they're recording it for down the road, but they're not doing it as
And
much.
we left for the Association of Towns, although we haven't gone for the last few years. There were years when they didn't, even though AOT met after COVID, they didn't do the judges training. This year, they did the judges training, but it was recorded. So you would go to New York City to see exactly what you could see
watch the
online,
recording.
to watch the recording. So it was like, we were like, no, we're not doing that. So if they come back to live training, that may change, but so far, we don't know what they're going to do next year.
We had an opportunity, we signed up for Ferry Pass.
For the North Ferry, you gave me the card, so I have that.
Yes. Yeah, so that, we might find a little bit of savings there, I just have to see when the vouchers come in, how much of a savings we're getting.
Although I usually take South Ferry because it's in Hampton Bays.
Yeah,
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, yeah, so I generally take South Ferry when I go.
This is-
yeah.
But there are times when I go off north if I have something. So,
We realized we could get a little bit of savings there, I just don't know how big it's gonna be, just because
yeah, absolutely, I have the card, so I'll use
I
it.
go off for one meeting a month, maybe.
Is that why it went up $1,000? With travel?
Travel, yes, we were asking, I mean, we reduced on some lines and we kind of replaced where things go. And travel, that's why we're asking, because I go to the drug court conferences. We want to make sure that doesn't eat up the entire travel budget, because Stanley may want to go, or if there's someone else, they may want to go. We just, we want to have that available.
Because right now it's trending on budget.
Yes.
The old budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and the thing is, for example, 2 years ago, the whole drug court team went to the national conference called All Rise, the drug court team, and Southampton Town paid for the entire team. They don't do that anymore. They have said you need to get the money from your own town. And for the last 2 years, I have not gone to the All Rise conference. In 2025, the conference is going to be in Florida, so hopefully it'll be a little cheaper. And I was hoping to be able to go to that.
Okay.
And there's also a New York State conference in Syracuse in March, and I have gone to that, and that one we drive to.
You go to, I don't think you went to Saratoga.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it wasn't Syracuse, you're right, it was Saratoga, but we drive to that one, so that's not.
I was like, that's 7 hours
First
for
one
me.
was in Niagara.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. And we don't go, the Magistrates Association, the New York State Magistrates Association, they're meeting in, I believe, Niagara Falls this year, and we don't go to those conferences either. So there's ones that we don't go to, we kind of pick and choose.
I think that was all the questions.
Yeah, our budget is pretty modest by comparison. And we also contribute to the town, as you know, because we collect fines from parking and from other traffic tickets and other things. So the town does get some money. And as Judge Birnbaum has pointed out, the judges' salaries are fairly modest, which, you know, we're not complaining about that, but they are modest.
And I hope, and I say this sincerely, I hope we don't nickel and dime you, because I know we both don't believe in that. We go to magistrate's dinner and it's negligible. We're paying out of pocket. We're not asking for it for the dinner, but they're necessary, because what they do is they give us a chance to talk to other judges when there are issues that pop up in the court that I know. I've been doing this 51 years, and there's one or two things that pop up all the time, and it gives us a chance to discuss it. And it's really important to go. And we're not looking for that, but I mean, so we're trying to be as modest as we can and as fair as we can, I know, to the town.
Although we do pay our dues for the Suffolk County Magistrate out of our budget. It's $200 a year each.
Okay, cool.
And the clerks as well.
Right, and the
The
clerks.
clerks, yeah.
That's everything.
Any other questions?
Who's your interpreter?
Usually it's Manny Piana.
When he's not available, we were constrained, and I use that word, to use the language line. And we have no idea what they're gonna charge.
It wasn't much.
It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, we don't use it.
They charge for, when they use somebody in Vietnam, they charged us.
Oh, no, I got that one dropped because the call kept dropping. I called them and said, you know, it didn't even work. And they were like, okay, well, get rid of the voucher.
What percentage of the people that come before you need an interpreter?
There's a significant number of Hispanic folks who need an interpreter. So at every court session, we certainly need the interpreter to be there.
Oh, really, every session?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And maybe
10%.
maybe 3 or 4 people a session.
I think it's more than that.
Sometimes less, sometimes there were no, so that's why I said.
Yeah, and more sometimes, yeah. However, very occasionally, we need a different language. And I have one coming up where we may need a Russian interpreter. And Stan, I know you've had others.
Out of Vietnam,
Yeah.
which was, she spoke perfect English, but you can't tell her that we know you speak. That's just how it was.
Claiming like, I don't understand.
Yeah, we have to be certain, so
Absolutely.
God bless.
But then you stand, behind her at the pharmacy.
Well, one of the things about having an interpreter is, first of all, people are nervous when they're in court and they don't really understand the proceedings. So the more nervous they are, if they're a little shaky in the language, even though they can go to the McDonald's and order something or have conversations, it's confusing for them. So we want to be sure, and we're required to be sure, that they fully understand what's going on.
100%.
It's a different.
So we have to
Yeah,
protect their
exactly.
rights.
Absolutely. So how does Language Line work for you then when you need Russian or?
They'll do any language.
It's tough because we're in open court and we're holding the phone, and people are listening. They don't have an extra room downstairs but we make do.
Well, the other thing is, thanks to Ken Lewis, we have removed the plexiglass barriers, which we needed during COVID, but all of the courthouses have taken them down. And that significantly impacted people being able to hear. So, because the judge was behind this big barrier, and if we had the language line, we have a phone on the bench, but then the people out there can't hear. So now we're much better. We can put the phone up on the top of the bench, so that gives us more flexibility. Although I will say that the one time I used Language Line, which was many years ago, for an evening arraignment, I thought that they were legally prepared, and they were not. They did not understand the legal terminology.
Yeah, that's true.
I kept saying, this is an arraignment, and they kept saying, an arrangement, an arrangement. It's like, no.
We're currently in a court.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we did manage to
get
get
through,
it,
yeah.
but it took a little while. But they do work, and the other courts use them as well. So,
And Manny is quite good.
oh, Manning's fine.
Yeah.
Manning's great.
I tried a robbery case in 1980, I'm giving away my age, but I won, and it was a prior felony offender because the interpreter made the wrong interpretation, which I was aware of. So it's important, and I told Manny when I started, it's important, and Manny really gives it a good effort.
He does.
He's
Right. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you all.
It's an age. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah.
5-minute pause. 5-minute pause.
Thanks, man. I don't think she's gonna get up. They'll take outside from there. Go outside for a second.
Hi.
Finish my coffee.
Yeah, maybe I want a coffee.
10:30, that's it? Oh, boy.
Does Bear make nervous?
Like
Make you nervous?
No, he makes me nervous. He was very good.
That there's treats
Totally
in there.
forgot he was there.
Yeah, don't. Just sit down, I'll give you.
We brought a wolf to a budget meeting.
Exactly. Yes, and I want the extra $2,000. Right?
So,
Are we still
while that
live
was
on
going
TV?
on, we are. We had, Jack put in for a meeting
Okay.
for next Friday.
Okay, let me write that in. So he's coming in.
I can resend this schedule to everyone too, but he's coming in Friday after Anne Marie, correct? So it's 18,
15?
15.
Okay.
And then did you put Ellen and Dan in?
I know, what time are they?
So they're coming on 10/24 at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And we have Ken coming in on 10/22 at 11.
This one, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that is the updated.
It's one budget meeting next week, but it's, well, actually two, because it's morning and
Sure,
afternoon.
when was that?
Here.
You can just send it to me.
Yeah, I'll resend a new schedule. But it's the ones in red are additions. So actually, can you think of anyone else you want to call in that's not listed there, that I'll reach out to again?
Well, we,
Like Bethany had, I asked her, she said she didn't need to come in unless you guys wanted her to.
because I think you've got,
Yeah.
Did we see Bethany already?
no, we
No.
haven't. I mean, unless you want to see her. Like, she's, the adjustments that we've made, she didn't, I guess, take exception to, so.
Definitely no reasons there.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just an opportunity to better understand programming,
Oh, so,
but we could also have this
so no.
another time.
Yeah.
Back to page 36.
So, sort of done with ZBA for now.
Yeah, so we're gonna put it in at 20,000
For office and miscellaneous.
for professional services.
Oh, right. Sorry, my eyes skipped. I was gonna say, that's $850.
Yeah.
Planning board.
This is the standard raise.
It's a standard, and, I mean, historically, we've always kept planning board and zoning board the same. Probably should have taken them up for 2024 with the extra
Mhm.
workload of wetlands. But,
Right.
But now that wetlands is coming back to town board,
We're considering giving them site plan.
if, when we do that, we should
Amend the
then
budget.
amend the budget, yes. But for the moment, let me just see what, if we were to keep them the same because we're giving them a similar increase in workload. That would be a budget amendment of 5,100. So we have 10,000 in contingency.
Sorry, what changes are you making?
If we give planning board site plan review,
Mm-hmm.
then we'd be increasing the workload. And just as we've increased the ZBA's workload, they might ask for an increase for taking on that extra work.
Should we wait till they ask?
Yes, wait till we actually transfer site plan review to them,
Okay.
in case we decide not to.
And professional services.
I took that down because the increase has been due to
Wetlands.
wetlands. So I took it back to planning board non-wetlands days. 2023. It's 2023. Back down.
Check the
Potatoes.
They were 46,000 in 2023. Section.
Yeah, it was 46,000, right? Oh, no, it was a modified budget.
Looked,
I was gonna say.
an entry that was wrong.
Especially as we're finalizing the 2023 numbers.
We're lowering professional services because they don't have wetlands.
But Shelley's just checking, because in 2023, it was
46.
46,000. I feel like I went back to 2022 when I was looking for things.
Yeah, that seems correct with all the wetlands.
Oh, so they had.
So they have
Minor
wetlands
Essex.
in
2023.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right, we did transfer it earlier. Oh, I know what I did. I went through that list in detail and pulled out wetlands. Oh, hang on a second.
So it's just for non-wetlands applications.
Yeah, let me just.
I have extra pins if I need them as folders.
Yeah, I did go through and just took out, like, that's wetlands, that's wetlands, that's wetlands, that's wetlands. Yeah. I tore it apart.
Okay. So we'll leave that. Now their print and advertising, is that gonna go down because, well, no, because they didn't have to print for wetlands. They didn't need notices.
Oh, they would have.
So really all this is just transferring to the town board. These expenses.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, we may probably need to amend something else then. And their professional services, it was the attorney and the engineer. So we have the attorney already on staff. And then we've hired the environmental consultant
Right.
in place of their engineer slash planner. But that's a couple pages further. So Water Advisory Committee.
The water level monitoring,
Yeah, that, we've got, that's a USGS contract, and we got notification. It's like a 3-year contract, and so the new 3-year cycle started, and so it went up from an annual cost of 22,500 to 34,585.
Did it go up because of the new technology we've had installed in the wells, like the continuous monitoring or?
I didn't, like, what I saw, I just pulled the number.
Okay.
But it's been 3 years since they last price adjusted it.
Right, so
And we
it's-
have, like,
Inflation.
yes, we do have the continuous monitoring as well.
Make a note to ask Joe when he comes in. Might
Yeah.
be more up to date on that.
Full-
Yeah, I think he's on the,
and how do they monitor
CC
the
number.
well? The test wells all over town?
Mhm.
How many? 22?
No, that 22 is the contract number, because we used to have a contract for water level monitoring for saltwater intrusion, and then we also did a special baseline testing. And there was confusion one year in budgeting, and so Shelby and I pulled the contracts and put numbers after each contract so that we knew which one corresponded to
Yes.
which.
So the saltwater intrusion contract doesn't have a number.
No, because that was something that they were going to do. in
It was
last
a
year's-
study,
it was-
right?
Yeah, it was an ask in last year's budget, and it hasn't taken place yet. But they say that they want to do it in,
yeah, I think we actually had the money in last year's budget. It was unspent, so we rolled it over into this year because the thought was that they were going to.
The 20,000,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it costs us.
so they haven't spent that. Willing.
Uh-huh.
20,000 I can put in the cover page.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the B fund, yes, okay.
What are we doing about this?
So,
Would have been on the cover page last year, I think.
notice that, I
Or,
don't think we did that last year. Because I think the only thing, but
because they had it, but they knew they weren't gonna spend it, so we said they'd roll it forward to this year
yeah, but I don't
to
think.
spend, but if we are not
I
gonna
don't think
spend it.
fund balance, but this year we shall.
So we're taking it out?
No, we're gonna leave it, but on the cover page, which is where we account for the rollovers, I'm gonna be pulling from fund balance there, 20,000.
Okay.
Because since it's not being spent this year, it goes back in to fund balance, so we'll just pull it back out of fund balance.
Yeah, it wasn't on the cover last year, so, yes, that must have been the thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, we encumbered it because we did have some sort of
Oh, we did have a contract?
contract.
Was with
It was- or a
USGS to do
proposal or
this,
something,
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken. They had done,
Mhm.
they did a
Proposal?
study 5 years ago or something, and it was to repeat that study that they had done previously. But it
But that would be for water quality.
was for saltwater intrusion.
Oh, it was for salt.
Yeah, we'll have to look at,
They did, they've
make a
done
note to look at our
multiple
notes.
studies, but there was a saltwater intrusion study done in the Clare area, I think. And they wanted to repeat that study. I believe.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that,
Mhm.
I have to do some research, but
I just remember,
I remember Peter Graham talking about it in the meeting.
I just want to look up one thing in Williamson on the. Oh, okay, so you're saying that 20,000, so we can't pull it out. I've already thought about this, because that was a budget modification because of an encumbrance. Although, if it was rolled over from the other year,
Ending it, yeah.
and that was expected, okay, we can still pull it then. Okay.
So we are pulling it out now, or just to the cover?
Just on the cover page. Yeah, I
Okay.
just want to make sure that it was a valid fund balance pull.
The water testing, $5,000, $5,000. That's fine. They didn't spend any of it.
It's about, isn't it about to be spent? I thought they were going to reimburse homeowners who, in Montclair and Silver Beach, who do water testing. And then if they give the results to the town, they can get reimbursed that $100 fee.
Okay.
So they are going to use that. Because initially they were gonna go talk to WQI, but they had money in their budget already for this, so why take it out of WQI when? Or we take it out of here.
That's 50 tests, okay.
Or we take it out of here and tell them, you must go to WQI and apply for the money that way. We take it out of that pot of money instead of having taxpayers fund it.
Sounds better.
I don't know if the WQI money can be used for testing. I don't know, we have to look that up.
Did it
There
for the
was,
center triangle.
right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
it had already been vetted.
That's right.
Because,
That's right.
Because it's,
not that, I mean, there's money in WQI,
Mhm.
and there
Yes.
really isn't any money here.
right, exactly, exactly. But yeah, and they're changing the definition of, everything, the expenses that are eligible that
Right.
have to do with WQI money spending.
If we could do that, that would be good.
So what are we taking out?
So we're gonna take the water testing from 5,000 to 0. And then they had put in support for citizen science for 5,000, but in my budget slashing, I took it out.
Yeah, that's something that also went to WQI for funding.
Mm-hmm.
Comp plan?
Comp plan. That was a nice $100,000 increase. Because I don't know exactly, I have to see if I can get somewhere pricing on what we need for the environmental,
The secret.
yeah, the GEIS, the SECRA.
So this $100,000 is for environmental testing.
For the secret review.
Yeah.
The comp plan.
Okay.
Not both, really. That's what we just, we have to define the scope for the environmental. We definitely have to do the secret.
It's all the same process. It's just,
Mhm.
it's like a 3-stage process from beginning to end.
Yeah,
That'll be like 100.
yes, so I put 100,000 in thinking, hopefully my number's close.
I have no idea.
It'll definitely be around that. Maybe a little more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, you're here until it's done.
Am I? I don't know. They have to reelect me next year.
Yeah, I was
to keep
gonna
me
say,
there.
yeah.
It might just be all you then.
I was gonna say, you have
You will be
you have a
there.
longer term than the two of us. And there are people gunning for us.
If I have to vote for you to keep you here to do that, I'm okay with that.
This is being recorded, Ben. We'll play it back during election season.
It'll appear in the shelter report.
So. Yeah, that just is what it is. Ordinance enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, that's there until we talk to Reed to see if there's gonna be a restructuring too. do something. CAC,
Why is this separate? Because they share it with zoning or
shared with
Legal.
town
town
attorney.
attorney?
Yeah, so the report too is part building department, part town attorney.
Yeah.
CAC. Straightforward. I cut pamphlets and public information because they haven't been spending it over the past couple of years, so. The next one, the wetlands application consultant. So based upon our new
Person.
engagement, the only question here is, again, whether or not we can get the applicants to pay for the consulting fees.
Review fees.
So I think that in our current draft of the wetlands code, the one that we haven't adopted yet, it does have that in
Mhm.
for when they have to go and do the final inspection to make sure everything was vegetated as per plan and all that, that's included as a fee that we can push back on the applicant. But we have to go through the code and see if we need to modify, like make changes to
Mhm.
allow for it. As of right, we're not allowed to, we have to actually put it into code.
Yeah. And then this consultant will also be advising us on the application itself, so there's those hours spent before a permit is required. So obviously,
We'll have to use-
yeah, we'll have to pay for that. And then also, she will be advising us on our wetlands code change, so that we have to eat. So I think maybe we can recoup some of the 22.5 on the closeout, but I'd rather, in this first year of using her, not.
Yeah.
I just have no idea if is 20 a better number?
I did the math, just
Yeah.
based on what, during the interview, what she said her availability was, so the number of hours a week and her rate, so.
And some of that will be driven by how many applications we
Yeah.
receive. You know, I mean, it's gonna be variable.
That number's only going up.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yeah, especially as we change wetlands code and push it. Oh, no, that already have to, if the adjacent regulated area already would cause back, so never mind.
Benefits.
Yeah. But remind me, Shelby, that next week we should look at 2024, because we do need to do a budget modification
For sure.
to cover, anticipate the expense will be. And benefits.
I mean, something we can do here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean,
So,
Barbara's double checking her calculations. Yeah.
You said there might be a miscalculation there somewhere?
She's just double checking, because she did a very, we got the information, she had used a different assumption, and then when we went through and realized, like, you have to take 1 year and use 3/4 of that. Oh. Hang on a second. I have it somewhere.
I mean, if
I
there's,
adjusted the calculation based upon how it works. Because it's 3/4 of 1 year and 1/4 of another year, and they give us an estimate, and then they give us a proposed, and then they give us a final as we get closer to the date that we actually have to pay the state. So I had taken what Barbara had done with an initial number and used her proration across all 4 funds. So now she will go back and do a more detailed calculation based upon our employee, exactly how the income's increased.
if there is a potential overestimation, how much do you think it might be?
Not much. Yeah, because I already, as you can see, that like originally Barbara thought for the state retirement, 72,000. And then when I redid the calculations, it was 67,000. So,
Well, that's $5,000. I'll take
yeah,
it.
but I don't, so if there's gonna be any more adjustments, be 1,000 here,
Okay.
1,000. We're not talking anything.
Okay.
And then we get into B fund revenues.
Like a pilot. $2,600.
Yeah. The light, but yeah, that's just for the.
Just for the B fund, yeah, but yes, that's it.
Yeah, no,
Why bother?
I was disappointed.
I'll just send the money back and tell them, you know.
Bury the polls.
Yeah. I got rid of my pole.
And then building department revenue. Contractor licenses. Adjusted reads number.
Are we really? $100,000 from licenses?
We have a lot of contractors.
In 2023, we received $103,750. And with the August number, I haven't recalculated for September, we are trending towards possibly $108,750.
Okay.
But I want to see where September came in just because.
September was an additional 10,500, so your actual revenue is 83,000.
Now, all the contracts don't come due at the same time, right? The licenses, they're kind of roll in throughout the year.
So I think the 103 is a good number.
This would be another, well, that's another thought about having an amnesty day that drives revenue. If you charge them the building permit fee, if someone has done work without a permit, that's just another way to drive revenue.
Well, we have that. If you do work without the permit, the fine is what, 5 times the permit fee?
Yeah, but then they'll never know.
Yeah, he's trying to get people to voluntarily come
Come
forward.
in and write a check and say, forgive me.
No one's gonna do that.
New York State has done that. New York
Surprise.
State has done that with income taxes, and I have had clients over the years when there's been amnesty to say, okay, let's do it. If we can
Uncle.
avoid penalties and
Yeah.
interests, like, or not interest, but penalties, yeah.
Just a thought. We're trying to find income. There's one right there.
Yeah. I mean, it could work for people who are trying to like legalize spaces that are sketchy at best.
Mhm.
I wonder if other municipalities have done it. Because I'm thinking sometimes that throws somebody into needing to go for a ZBA variance because they did something, so then
Right.
they might still not want to come forward.
Typically, the reason why they do something is because they don't want to have to get the permits or go through the hoop.
Yeah, we're doing something else.
Mhm.
And Shelby, where are we on building permits through September?
For September, it's 341,221. Your number last year was huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was 496,000, which. Wait, 441? Oh, no, 44,000 was the increase for the month. Because I always look at the numbers a couple of different ways.
For a building department.
Yeah, 44,000 for September.
So we might end the year.
Or what line item we're talking about?
Building permits.
So using that number, we could be trending to 454,961. Yeah.
Call 450, that's another 25 grand. Now we're talking.
I know, I'd already taken above what Reed's projection was.
think there are a couple big projects that are getting ready to submit applications to the building department.
So if I annualize the September number, it's 454. If I take what we got in September, well, there's no way December would have the same increase. That like getting to 474 is a little high, even though last year it was 496, so.
Well, our large house moratorium slowed this down.
Perhaps we could go to 450.
I would go to 450.
Yeah, no, another 25 grand. That is, yeah, it's a quarter point. Actually below 10%, around 10%.
Yeah, which always been.
No, I have not been
Okay.
updating it yet, not yet.
I said, Friday, perhaps.
Yeah.
We're not,
Yes,
we're not down for
right, that
that.
is the plan.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
We can plug in.
yeah. I mean, we did
Little
when we started
changes
to
and
go
then-
through. I sort of feel like this is just a first pass
Mhm.
to, get you into the budget,
Oh, thank you.
Budget
just
range.
understand all the components. And I'm sure when Albert's back, he'll go, he can go back through and watch the meetings to just get up to speed. And then we have to make the hard decisions.
Some ideas, they require a code change.
Yeah, where's the budget line for redoing the code?
That comes after the comp plan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first we have to get the comp plan done, and then there are grants out there that we would be applying for, which it'd be nice to get the comp plan done by September, because then we can meet the grant deadlines.
Well, we're certainly gonna try.
Zoning board revenue. Now,
Just fees.
so with zoning board revenue, if we gave them big homes, this will probably go up a little bit. There's at least 5 pending applications for large homes, right? That are going to the ZBA. So this is based off of their current caseload.
True.
We might be able to add an extra 5,000.
Yeah, last year they brought in 14,000, so trending 22,850, so take it up to 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of those 5 apps, Meg, do you see any that are problematic?
They all have to go, yeah, send them on.
Yeah, but if it's, fits and they have to have the 5 criteria,
They don't have to, yeah, but I mean, we don't refund the application fee if we deny them, do we? No.
No.
I was gonna
No,
say,
because
keep
they've
it-
already done the work.
It's like it's already across the town,
Yeah.
yeah.
oh no, I'm just curious, if it's one thing if it's a 10,000 square foot house on 5 acres in the middle of the island, or if it's a 10,000 square foot house on an acre on the beach.
We've got a blend of all those things, Benjamin. You're sitting in the queue, waiting to be reviewed. This is why they're asking for more money.
So the next page is, so we're gonna take that to 30. And then planning board subdivision fees.
They've been doing a lot of lot line adjustments lately. It just seems like there's been a lot of that.
Yeah, but last year,
I've
planning
got
board
one
fees were only $3,740. So while we're ahead this year,
Yeah.
did we get anything in September?
$165.
I'm sitting on my application until next year.
Make sure you put it in the right budget year to make this look good.
Well, perhaps we should consider raising those fees.
I guess I'll put it in tomorrow.
So 85, is that what we took it to?
8,000? Oh, you just added $500 more?
Yeah,
Oh,
for
to
some
sort of-
reason, because I think right now it says 8,400.
Yeah, should.
Oh, yeah, but I looked at last year, 3740, and just thought, like,
Wishful thinking.
like, you know,
Hopeful.
figured 500 is not gonna be. That's true, I figured a difference.
That's true. And we just saved a bunch on the last page.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we're paying them more, so it's really just covering their salary.
I refuse my salary increase.
Revenue. Wetlands permits.
We can do like,
And
one board member,
Yeah, half
one
and-
board member takes an increase, another board member doesn't. I don't know if that,
Well, I think that everybody can take the increase and then the other board members can donate it back to the town. I think that's an option, that's the way to do it. You can just donate your salary back to the town, but you'd have to take it first.
If I'm gonna donate it somewhere, I'll donate it to one of the other charities I already support. Believe me, they're not asking me for smaller checks.
Alright, revenue, wetlands permits. Where do we find this?
Well, usually is in the A fund.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
why is this
yeah,
new?
because it really shouldn't be in the A fund,
Mhm.
because we don't, it's outside of Deering Harbor. And that's why we moved the environmental consultant over into the B fund. So,
Through September, it was 13,750.
Okay.
so. So we had zeroed it out in the A fund conversation and moved it here.
Special exception application fee. What is that? What's a special exception?
Well, we've had none this year.
I never
and
remember these.
Is it supposed to be
Maybe
a
Amber
special
might.
There was none in 2023.
We haven't,
Does it even exist? Is this like, one of those mystical things?
I can't remember if I went back and looked at 2022 just to see, like,
Well, it's the application we were using for the square footage house for over 5,999 square foot. That's the
Special-
application we were using. And then there was a moratorium and now you cannot build over 5,900.
And
Oh,
if you
now
try
those are
to, it
gonna
goes to
So
ZBA.
Yes, it'll be a
it was the
zoning
special
board.
permit process
Okay.
for the large homes. So it's the special exemption applications, it was special permit,
okay.
like the.
Yeah,
So
we
does that mean, for instance, people applying for like a change of use, would that be a special permit?
Yes,
should-
So that would go here.
yes.
So this isn't mystical.
It just hasn't been used as much this past year.
Oh, we have two applications now, don't we?
Yes. Well, technically, those are site plan review, but we don't have a site plan review application, so they're using the special permit application because we haven't finished that yet.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, I guess
but now,
we need a line
that
item
greater,
for.
yeah, I mean, but if they're mostly greater than
They're
6,000
CPA.
square, then we've got them in the zoning board fees that we just,
So should this go away?
Yeah.
This is
I mean,
totally mystical.
the line can stay there in case we do get a special permit for a change in use.
Okay, you zeroed it out, so.
But
Yeah,
we don't get those different frequency.
we should create a site plan review line if we're gonna have, we know we have more projects coming our way,
Mhm.
which I believe we do.
And is that a B fund revenue?
Oh,
This is.
yeah.
Does it include the village or not include the village?
It does not include the village.
Would be.
You know, that would be like if, well,
But why would we include the village? Like, if they had something that was gonna have site, like, they have their own zoning,
right,
so that's why that's in the B fund. They have their own planning, that's why that's in the B fund. I don't know, I think of like site plan stuff, like, they use the library.
yeah. But the library's not within their
Their
jurisdiction, so they wouldn't be forced to do the review of the library.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess maybe if they were gonna expand their town hall or something, that would require a site plan review, but wouldn't that be under their building?
Yeah,
Code,
where
their-
where have we been posting site plan review?
Revenues that come in,
Yeah.
I don't know, that would probably all
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to that
we're-
office.
It's probably going.
Yeah, if you think of, Liberty, where did that fee get posted to? And you're on mute if you're talking. Yeah, although I hear voices over there, so she may be engaged with somebody at the window.
Wasn't Liberty a curb cut?
No, it was a full site plan.
Mhm.
Oh,
He's developing a property on
Yeah.
114, that has a really old tear down house on it, and so it's updated.
oh, that's right. Cool.
So we actually have it in front of us again, because they are modifying the application.
So I'm gonna
Is
just,
Walter's plan to move,
So the business, yeah.
not the car one, but the
No, the landscaping.
landscape one?
I'm just gonna,
I'm making a note, so we'll look at this next week.
yeah.
Site fees, and they're posted previously. Okay, that's the B fund. 16.
Lunch.
It's looking to see how many pages.
There's no more people, physical people coming in today.
Would you not?
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna need an extra minute at some point today to go deal with my taxes.
Mhm. All right, so do you want to pause now and then we'll come back at 1?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
we
we'll-
can do that.
We'll hit DA, DB,
And then we can look at CPF.
yeah, CPF, WQI. Okay, all right, so we will adjourn this meeting until 1 PM today.
Who's the floor?
Second, all in favor?